Hey, I actually used to beat animals or beat my child every single day. Now it's once a week. Do we accept that? What limit is acceptable? Once a month? Once a year? When people say we are reducing, I ask them, would you do that for any other form of injustice? So if I was beating a child and, what would you try to do? Would you give me like a trophy and a medal for not beating my child or beating my child less? No, you intervene. Speaking of vegans being pushy, we are the most peaceful group of people having conversations with people, like, right? But you actually would take action to stop someone beating a child, beating a helpless animal. What if I just said, fine, you're right, I'm doing my best, this isn't my culture. Hey, I actually used to beat animals or beat my child every single day. Now it's once a week. Do we accept that? What limit is acceptable? Once a month? Once a year? None. It's black and white. There's not gray zone. We do already think about many other forms of social justice issues that way, black and white. There's no compromise. It's only when it comes to animal rights, then suddenly things like, yeah, fine, let's just give them a little more space before we kill them. Let's just treat them a little better before we kill them. It's only when it comes to animal rights when things like that suddenly become a solution. Or, maybe we should encourage people to reduce instead of like going vegan. So that's, I think, a lesson that we can learn from other social justices. How do we treat other forms of social justice? I really like the saying, every time a social change happened, it was because of a small group of thoughtful and determined people. Every time that there was a massive change. So the good news is we don't need 50% of people to become vegan. We don't need to be majority to be successful. So that's a very important thing to remember. No other social justice movement happened because they were in majority. None of them happened without a massive backlash from the opposite, right? We literally went to a war because people didn't want to give up like slaves, right? So it's predictable that the other side is trying to ban, cultivated meat, ban labeling of plant-based food, ban you can't call it milk, and all the propaganda and misinformation and disinformation. So it's all predictable and expected, but it's going to be tough. So what we need is a small group of dedicated and thoughtful people who can organize, who can work together. So that's one thing. The other thing is for vegans, there is a huge social pressure on us to not speak up because, and I get that a lot, especially as I work with a lot of younger people. So there was like a student at Columbia University and I'm like, why aren't you speaking up? Because he seemed very passionate, and I was like, I don't see anything on your social media. I see that you're following allied scholars, but like, are you active? What's going on? And he said, yeah, I should probably do more, but I just want to live by example. And I honestly hate to hear that. Live by example. I actually got ChatGPT. I'll share this picture. I got ChatGPT to make an image for me, draw a scene where there's like a battle in the background and there are soldiers killing each other, blood everywhere, and then they're trying to kill animals. Animals are running around, scared, and then there's a vegan there with a cupcake, says like, I brought cupcake. That's just ridiculous to me. It's like, we are in a war and you're just trying to like, I live by example. It's like bringing a black friend to a party instead of, when slavery was normal and legal, instead of like speaking up and doing something about it. It's like, oh, look at me. I am a normal guy. I just brought a black friend with me to normalize not being a racist. It's just ridiculous. Don't take me wrong. Bake your cookies and, cupcakes and take them to people and, encourage people, do positive. I don't say, you should be a miserable fuck at all time. But what I'm trying to get at is, don't let the social pressure of the label of being an angry person and stuff like that to stop you from speaking up. And speaking up doesn't equal. So the other side has done this amazing thing. The society has done this thing that's really great on their part, that if you speak up, you're automatically labeled as angry vegan, as whatever else, pushy. And it's just all honestly bullshit. A lot of times when you speak up and people get angry, you have to remember that they're not angry at you. You can be the nicest vegan ever, but if you speak the truth, they get angry and they're not angry at you. And I keep saying that vegans are just a mirror. You're reflecting people's actions and values. That's all we are doing. And when those actions and values don't align, that's what makes people mad. And it's a lot easier to be mad at a vegan than self-reflect and say, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And it's okay. Sometimes also people, so another thing that I want to emphasize is like, people getting mad doesn't mean that your outreach doesn't work. Sometimes always remember, in order to change, you have to be mad. You have to be at least unsatisfied with the current situation. You have to feel discomfort. Why would you go to the gym? Because you don't like your weight, you don't like the way you look, whatever that is. You want to be healthier, but you're not comfortable with where you are, and that's why you go to gym. So if you want to become vegan, why would you want to change if you're not uncomfortable, right? So I don't say that go intentionally piss people off, which actually I want to say something about that, about yelling at people. So I don't say that intentionally go like yell at people, but if you need to speak up, don't be afraid of coming across as pushy, and just remember all of those are nothing but deflections from the other side, right? So you can be kind and compassionate, but don't let that stop you. So another label that they give vegans is like being judgmental, and then vegans do that too. Like, I don't want to judge you, and we make this environment where judging is bad, and I want to challenge that idea that judging is not bad. Every time you go to your favorite vegan restaurant and you look at those Yelp or Google reviews, those are judgments that people made, and you rely on those. There is an evolutionary reason that we do judgment, because that helps us, because when we hear from other people, it helps us to survive. If more people said, don't go that way because it's dangerous, you rely on other people's judgment to survive. And that is not by nature bad. We should just judge righteously. It is bad to judge someone for something that they don't have any control over. If I make fun of somebody for what they look like, and for their disability, or something they had no control over, that's shitty, and that shouldn't be done. But of course we should judge ourselves, and we should judge others. And if my friend didn't judge me, I wouldn't be vegan today, right? I'm grateful for her, because she judged me, she made me uncomfortable, and I changed. So I just see a lot of vegans, they don't speak up because they're afraid of being labeled as judgmental. And don't feel that, as long as you come from a place of love and compassion, I think people can see that, hey, I'm not saying that you're a bad person, but I think you can be a better version of yourself if you don't exploit animals. And you told me yourself that you don't like this, right? So I tell people, hold yourself to your own standards. If you tell me that your standard is here, but you're paying for animals to be exploited, I'm just telling you that you can do better.